Hey there viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. Got a 2017 Subaru. I think it's the Impreza. It's got the big 2.5. Rear pinion seal starting to leak. Lady was seeing a spot on the floor, we'll say. Probably the vent is rusted shut. That's my guess. That's usually what happens. Vent will rust shut and then pressure's got to go somewhere. And usually it finds a seal to sneak out of. Car's rusty. Welcome to New York, baby. I think typically you pull the exhaust system off to do this. We're going to try to avoid that. The exhaust system is all jerry-rigged on there, and I don't want to touch it. So first thing we're going to do, A, is check the vent. Is the vent rusted shut, which I'm sure it is. It looks like it is. And then B, can we get the drive shaft out or back far enough to get the pinion flange off and do what we need to do without dropping the exhaust? Because if we need to drop the exhaust, it's going to be a different story for this lady. And that's life. Let's get after it, boys. It does appear that the vent up here, I didn't even mean to rhyme that, it just happened. You guys are straight up in my way. It does appear that vent is solid rust. Sometimes you can get lucky. That's just a good statement in general. Sometimes you get lucky. Okay, let's see. Enough mess in here. Let's see if we can grab a hold of this little guy. Just wiggle the top of it. What the world? Huh, let me move you out of the way. Seems like I can't get on it. It's the same style vent that Toyota likes to run. Wow, what the world? Whoa, whoa! What the world? Oh man, this sucker's pretty bad. Let me, there's a little piece that comes off the rear diff cover that comes up right next to it. If I was coming in this direction, I think I could get a hold of it. Nope, negative, Ghost Rider. Well, let me do a little tapping on that thing. See if I can't. We got to get it jiggled loose. There's no sense in doing any of that if the vent's plugged solid and it's just one big chunk of rust. I just reached up there. It is so rotted that it just fell apart. There's a little check valve, but it's just a little piece of tin. I just reached up there with these pliers, and the second I touched it, it just crumbled into nothing. It is a 2017, so she's just about ready for the junkyard. Well, how about this? Pulling the rear differential out of this to replace the rear cover is going to require a new vehicle to be attached to it. It's gonna escalate into a pretty big project. Let me look up here with a mirror. Perhaps we can still get on this vent if it is not just pressed into the cover. Because like I say, to replace the cover, you got to drop the diff. To drop the diff, it gets real stupid real fast. We'll just leave it at that. Everything in the Rust Belt is 100 times harder to do than it is down south. But down south, you really don't need a Subaru. Well, I don't know if you probably won't be able to see that where you're at, but it is part of that cover. It's just some kind of vent that's pressed in, super corroded around it. It has what appears to be about a 3/16 hole. Here's my temporary solution. I just took a piece of brake line, bent it around in a little U, and what we'll be able to do is we're going to slide it right down inside that vent, and that's what we're going to have, this little piece sticking out. Well, I've been in a U to prevent the water from, running straight down into it, but at this point, I guess we need to talk with the customer. I think what I'll do, just, for temporary, we'll leave this little U-shaped piece in here. I'll put a little dab of silicone around the top of it just to kind of keep it in place for right now, but I need to talk to my customer, and chances are, doing this, as rigged up as it is probably going to solve that issue up there. On diff, she pulls in her garage, it's hot, it's got pressure in it because it was plugged up. drips and then, you know, quits dripping. I need to see what's really going to be involved. Looks like there's 2 bolts in the back, front drive shaft, or the drive shaft, and then, you know, pull this bracket off. It'll probably come out of there. I'm probably making it a bigger deal than it is. Does need to have the axles pulled off technically. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It looks like it could get real stupid. I'm just putting a little dab of silicone here. I'm trying to around the outside, up off the, you know, you don't want to get it down in the hole there. And let's see if we can't very gingerly just set that back up in there. Okay, yep, silicone kind of oozed out. And I'm just gonna leave that. I'm gonna finish doing the oil change. We'll smear silicone on this so somebody knows we've been here. But this is how it is, folks. This is some standard, you know, rust belt stuff going on. And this is, I think, the best option. You know, if this was my own car, you know, maybe we'd, you know, jerry rig something there. I don't know, probably wouldn't. But as a shop owner, it's difficult to leave a repair like this. You can't consider this, you know, repaired. Customer makes a decision in the end. This is just kind of a temporary, you know, we're seeing what's going on. Give them the estimate and then let them, you know, decide what to do. And this is one of those videos that I, generally speaking, wouldn't put out because I don't think there's much value in it, but perhaps there is, I guess, if we try to look at it with a different light. You know, maybe somebody's changing their axle seals or their pinion seal on something else and it's continually, you know, blowing, or, you know, you can't stop it from leaking, but they didn't think to check the vent. You know, we have vents on our transmissions, transfer cases, differentials, engines. You know, we have our PCV system, you know, that's getting the pressure out of the engine. And then all these components have vents as well. And this is one of the downsides to the salt belt, is when it's this style vent, you got to be pretty proactive to keep them things clear. You know, like I say, Toyota uses them. I think Honda does. You see them on, you know, Subarus, of course, but that little check valve with a little tin cap on it. Fluid film it, WD-40 it, spray it, you know, oil, something, put something on it to keep it from doing this. Because as soon as that little tin cap seizes up, as you saw, there's a spring in there. It's a check valve, lets the air pressure out. But as soon as that's done, it's, you know, game over, and then it rusts off, and then, you know, here we are. Could that be left as a permanent fix? I don't know. Not in my shop. I don't want my name attached to it. Is it going to be a temporary fix? Sure. Is it going to live the rest of its life there and they're never going to fix this? Probably. However, I'm going to give them the option. Going to quote them on whatever we're going to need to drop the exhaust, whatever it's going to need to drop the differential to the best that I can estimate, plus the cover, you know, to do it and do it right. So in the meantime, I'm going to make sure it's full of fluid and give the option to the customer and see what they want to do. I cannot, in good faith, put a seal in it and stand behind it, because it's just going to end up just like that if we don't do something with this back here. So that's why we had to check initially. Anyhow, check you guys in the comment section. Check yourself. Insta, Facebook, you know where we're at. Let me know what you guys do in the rust belt in situations like this. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.